Let's do this. Good morning, and welcome to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is the show where we talk about everything.
What the hell?
Well, almost. From today's news, culture, entertainment, real life, real people, and the stories everybody's talking about. And no, we don't do it in some tiny glass bubble. We do it the only way we know how. Real and completely unleashed.
Fire the hole, fire the hole, fire the hole.
So lean in and let's go right now.
Give me a hell yeah. What?
Oh, yeah. It is Friday morning. It is Freedom Friday. You've tuned into the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. I'm your host. Good morning. Get out of bed. Wake up early. Let's do this. August 14th, 2026. August 14th, 2026. My name is Daryl Arnold. We're unleashed. We're unapologetic. And it is early in the morning in Mississippi, but we are worldwide on all the podcasts, all the live streams, and of course, locally at 104.3 FM. And my name is Darrell. And the website is darrelarnold.us. That's Darrell, darrelarnold.us. You can check out all the, any way you want to click the button on there and click play. You can listen on any device that you get your podcast. Also, we're on YouTube streaming live right now, Facebook streaming live right now. The cool thing about those live streams, you can go back and listen and watch, or just put your device on the front seat of the car and just listen on CarPlay. I do that a lot, actually. So is there anything going on in the country? Of course it is. We know we have freedom every day, but we celebrate it on Friday as our theme. Every Friday is Freedom Friday around here. Again, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to all the sponsors. Our text line to go ahead and start texting me now, right now, 601-918-8409, 601-918-8409. It's going to be brought to you on this segment by Cypress Point Resort, cypresspointms.com, at Cypress Point MS on Facebook, Cameron's Garage, Instagram, all that good stuff. Going to be a big weekend out there. We'll get started. We'll start talking about that as well. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to catch up on. Miss y'all when I'm not here. Kind of crazy. Have to go to bed early, or try to get up and get here for you guys. Chicago, Illinois, right up, I-55, which is the interstate right here in Mississippi at the crossroads. Chicago is now legally granting murder suspects. And we have a lot of that going on right down the street, too, here in Jackson, Mississippi, in the vicinity. But Chicago is now legally granting murder suspects at least two, maybe more. They're called, quote, free, Free, free to roam days every week, where they're completely unmonitored. So these murderers are, let me put that word in there, people that allegedly murdered somebody, they're literally just have a freaking ankle bracelet. Are you kidding me? The city is treating people charged with sexual assault and murder with the leniency that used to be reserved for shoplifters. Are you talking about soft on crime? The mayor of Chicago and he wants to run again. He thinks he deserves to be mayor again by trying to save money on jail beds. This is crazy. Every morning I wake up and read these stories, and I'm like, where in the hell do we live now? Where do we live now? This policy has already resulted in over 300 people going completely AWOL. Well, of course it is. When they have a, quote, free to roam day, they're going to roam their asses down the road and run, hide, and disappear. The government has no idea where they are. None. When you treat a violent predator, basically, like that, and they're allowed to walk the streets for 48 or more hours a week without anybody tracking their location, please make that make sense. Somebody, for Christ's sakes, please text me, call me, jump up and down the middle of the street if you agree with this, and please explain how it can make sense. Please. And if it's going on around here, somebody please tell me about it. Because it ain't cool. It ain't
This
cool
is
at all.
the city of Chicago, a state attorney blowing the whistle on the ankle monitoring system and how broken it is, especially for people who have committed violent crimes.
The electronic monitoring statute now allows 2 free to roam days. So what that means is you're not being monitored during your 2 free to roam days. Actually, what the statute says is a minimum of 2 free to roam days. So, and normally, if it was still how it was originally for nonviolent people, wouldn't be a problem. But what has happened is we now have 87 people charged with murder or attempt murder on electronic monitoring. We have 181 sexual assault defendants on electronic monitoring. So currently, there's 3,200 people on electronic monitoring. The chief judge's office just gave us a stat of 10 to 12%. So over 300 people are AWOL. They have no idea where they are. Well, not a big deal if it's a retail theft. It's a very big deal if that person is a murderer.
Of course. And there it is, folks. Soft on crime policies. So they treat the nonviolent offenders with, I guess you can argue it's a proper policy. Okay. Maybe they feel like they save money. Maybe it doesn't make sense to have them stay in jail until their trial. Okay, you can absolutely debate that. But there should be no debate on giving that same level of leeway or freedom to someone who's committed a violent crime, especially if that violent crime has happened repeatedly.
Jesus Christ, where are we? Please tell me. Well, I'll tell you where that is. That's Chicago, Illinois, right up I-55. Okay, right up I-55. Poor leadership, soft on crime, entirely ran by the Democrat Party. Leadership is important. Democrat Party leadership is important. Whether we like the Democrats or not, they're not capable of leadership, ladies and gentlemen. They're just not capable of leadership. And, you know, I would say 95% are not. 95% are not capable of leading. And how do you lead by example when your example is soft on crime? How do you lead by example when your example is let all the illegal aliens in this country? Don't worry about it. Let them come over here and work for you. It's okay. Doesn't matter. They're not going to do anything bad. They're just happy to be over here. Shut your mouths. It's where we are now. Okay? It's where we are right now. So we could talk all we want about Freedom Friday because it is a free country so far. And I love Freedom Friday. but idiots that take advantage of freedom in this country and change the laws as they go along, these wicked, stupid mayors, or these really, really far left progressives. Even in police departments in some areas, you have far left progressive chief of police. It's rare, but it ain't that rare anymore, unfortunately. It's just crazy. The tool or the methodologic, the tool or the methods is still the neo-Marxist chaos. That's true. It's still chaos. It is meant to wear down the populace until they are weary from anarchy and will settle for the lies that the neo-Marxists sell to the population as a solution. Okay? It's all textbook communists. Now, that entire statement that I just read is from David Hall. He texted that to me. If you agree with him, you're exactly where I'm at. Because I do agree with him 100%. Okay? They just want to sit in the catbird seat and hold power while the rest of us live in the squalor that they created. More from David Hall. Yes. He's completely correct. In my opinion, for sure. But, look, this government, especially in the Chicago area, has no idea about anything. They continue to make a priority, rather, to allow the prisoners freedom of the accused over the safety of the families living next door. That's what they continue to do there. That's what they continue to do there in Chicago. And yes, it goes back to poor leadership, just like the mayor. Guess what the mayor is? The police. The police. They're in charge of the police. Just like the mayor before the one Chicago has now. Also, idiot. Also, complete idiot. Just what it is, you guys. There's just nothing else to say. We can say it all we want, but they're still doing what they've been doing for years. And now it's gotten to the point to where they literally celebrate criminals pretty much, but not just Chicago. So don't think I'm just picking on Chicago randomly. Check out all the Democrat far left ran cities in this country. Any of them with Democrat, quote, leadership right down the street from us, even. It doesn't matter where it is. They're not capable of leadership. They're not capable of conservative values. They're not capable of even populist values at this point. They're just not. Sad, but it's true. Sad, but real true, actually. So as we move along today on Friday, August 14th, it is very extremely hot in Mississippi and really all over the place, all over the country, all over America for sure. Hawaii has a tropical storm / maybe hurricane. We'll say a prayer for them. But it has been a real hot summer so far. I hope that means it goes away quick. But we're still in August, y'all. It's still Mississippi swamp weather. I know about August well. It's my birthday month every year, and it's always hot, just like Kiss said, hotter than hell. My birthday party is August 22nd at Cameron's Garage, located at Cypress Point, and you're all entirely invited. Everyone out there listening, whatever, tell your friends. This is an open party, Party. Thomas Kane is providing the music. Incredible. Love that band. Also, country rock and all your favorites. That's happening August 22nd. We'll talk about this weekend at Cameron's Garage and Cypress Point coming up shortly as well. Also, I want to say thank you to honestly, I'm very humbled. I know people, well, I'll put it this way. I know some people who think that Daryl guy is just always talking about himself, whatever. Haters will be haters. Haters are going to hate. But that's not the point. Me talking about myself. Of course, I'm going to advertise my business. Of course, I'm going to advertise the music shows that I'm involved with. Of course, I'm going to advertise myself. Of course, I'm going to throw up videos of people whom I've known in the music business over the last 40 years. I even had somebody say, oh, he paid for that Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray video. You know what? Shut the F up. You have no idea. You don't have a clue. You don't know about my life, obviously, but that's okay. I'm not trying to impress anyone at this point. I'm really not. I can promise you that. Anyway, we'll move on from that because it's silly. Silly. I don't like silly drama. Never have. Don't have anything to prove to fools. But what I do want to prove to everyone, not fools, but people in general, is that the far left, progressive, communist, socialist, DSA, all the rest of the wannabes out there that are ruining this country, is very important to know the facts, to hear the facts, and to stand up against these foolish idiots that are running in different political races all across this country. Now, that part, yes, I want everyone wide awake, eyes wide open, as the old saying goes. It's that important, y'all. It's that important that we listen. Because when somebody tells you something, especially when they repeat it more than once, especially if they repeat it more than once, you probably want to listen. You probably want to open those ears up and listen, because they're probably telling you exactly what's going on. And you may think it's foolish, and I'm not paying any attention to that garbage. I get it. I really do get it. I do. But guess what? You might want to listen. Good morning to Erica Shea, Russell in the house, David Hall in the house, Magnolia Myra. Good morning. Let me tell you something about Magnolia Myra. We appreciate everything. Military, thanks for your service, and still serving, by the way. Also, the line dancing group that she's put together, all the line dancing things that are going on around the city and the metropolitan area and the counties. It's crazy, but it's cool as hell. Okay. They have a full team. They come out, they do lessons, and then it's a party of line dancing. Speaking of line dancing, some of them will be out for the Honky Tonk Time Machine Saturday night, which is tomorrow, August 15th at Cameron's Garage. The band is Honky Tonk Time Machine, and it's just that. It's a time machine of all those songs, all those line dancing and those party songs. Be there or be square. Be there or be completely square. So Let's read a couple of messages about what I was just talking about that I've received, mainly through YouTube in this particular segment. But innocent people will die because of that light policy, that soft on crime, and that in-state sponsored terrorism, which is what it's becoming. You know, I believe that. What the actual F is another text that I got. Stephen Bailey. Yeah, what the actual F? Because that's insane. That's completely insane. It's funny because, you know, regular, I call it regular old TV like WLBT. We'll go this way then, nationwide. NBC, CBS, ABC, those three. You know, they have all these tough on crime TV shows made for TV like Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, and whatever else they have now. Tough on crime and all, but that's not really what's going on in their cities. They lie. They lie. They may want you to think that they're like that, but they're not. They are not. So, Secretary RFK Jr., children are patients, not profit centers. Hell yeah. Finally, somebody speaking up for the damn kids. Our new Wolves in White Coats report raises serious questions about pediatric, quote, gender medicine. I think that's retarded. Financial incentives and insurance billing. Now, they, along with J.D. Vance and others, of course, not just those two, are standing up with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and demanding answers, y'all. We will follow the evidence and hold anyone who broke the quote law accountable. For years now, this has been going on. But you know, the Democrats hate RFK. They hate him because they're the ones breaking the law. That's why they hate him. They hate him because he's busting them open on all their medical scams going back for decades. They hate him because he was right about so many things over the last 30 plus years when he's been out there fighting for pediatric health. And they've been calling him a kook. They've called him a kook, just to name one word. They've called him many words. But now, you know what? He's put together a team. And most of the stuff, ladies and gentlemen, is for the pediatric community, which is awesome. It's awesome because anytime you can help the younger generation, especially pediatric generation, those are the future leaders of this country, A. And B, those are somebody's freaking kids or grandkids. Stop using them as freaking test mice. Stop it. Stop using them for that. J.D. Vance quoted at the same press conference, the administration will not, NOT, stand idly by while some in the medical community harm our children anymore in search of a profit. This is why today I am referring this matter to the Department of Justice to launch a federal criminal investigation. We will stop this fraud and restore trust in public health. Thanks to Kennedy, Christine, Todd Blanche, J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, everybody involved. Everyone. The American Board of Pediatrics forces pediatricians to, quote, answer questions about false premises and all that. So, are they lying? Are they lying? All I know is when it involves a pediatric case, in my opinion, is heinous. We're talking about children, sometimes infants, okay, by a medical mafia. And does that mean every doctor's bad? Of course not. Of course not, but it only takes a few, you guys. It only takes a few. I have people texting saying, it won't do any good, it won't work, and so on and so on. Well, we hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong. And the country should hope you're wrong. And any parent or grandparent should hope you're wrong. Anything you can stop, STOP, before it gets going well, or even after it's been going for freaking decades in this case, good. And speaking of decades and decades and decades, too many decades, all the way back to AIDS and before. We all know the Dr. Anthony Fauci story. It is burned completely out. I do not have to talk about it anymore, but I will say this. The hundreds and 34 thousands of text messages and emails they found with this loser, Anthony Fauci, sending out messages regarding the vaccine, the Moderna, the Pfizer, all of that he was making mega bucks off of, that was, he knew that it caused miscarriages and etc. That is some evil, evil stuff. And it's all being proven now. I know he was pardoned, and I know not everybody might agree with me, but I also know that it's proven now. And when you get busted out on the number one podcast in the entire world, everybody knows now, Fauci. Everyone. Here's Joe Rogan discussing it day before yesterday, actually. And Joe Rogan only gets, 20 million a day or 50 million or whatever the hell it is. But everybody needs to be bringing this to light, not just Joe Rogan, not just Daryl Arnold, anybody and everybody. Why? Because it's that important, y'all. It's that important. And it should be. Nobody should be taking up for these people anymore. And if you're getting paid to take up for them, shame on you. Shame on you.
And they lied about it. He lied about it months after he knew, after he expressed publicly or privately, rather, in a text message that it seems there's a cytokine storm that's causing miscarriages with the second dose. So he says this in a text message. I don't know if he said second dose, but he did say cytokine storm that is associated with miscarriages, and then publicly was out there promoting the idea of women who are pregnant getting vaccinated when he knew there was an issue. And they also lied about the number.
Yeah, he lied about the number. I can't play the whole Joe Rogan clip because he drops the MF and the other bombs constantly. But what he said is, which is frightening, that some of the numbers were up to 80%, you guys. He knew this. He being Fauci. He knew this. Anyway, we're not going to talk anymore about Dr. Death, Mr. Frankenstein, and Professor X today because we've talked about it for years. But I do think they need to hold this gentleman accountable. even though he's been pardoned, somehow he needs to be held completely 100% accountable for all the stuff that he knew and did anyway and profited off of, and all the freaking lies. Okay? All the lies. It is the top of the hour. My name is Daryl Arnold. We are Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold, darylarnold.us.
Power 104.3 FM.
You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of. But you have heard of me.
The Pirate.
Every program in the Next ecosystem is designed to meet people where they are and take them where they want to go, in technology and in life. Mississippi Coding Academies is a nonprofit that bridges the digital divide, delivering accessible, affordable, and life-changing technology education across the globe. Funded by grants and donations that are truly making an impact at home and abroad. Learn coding, cybersecurity, and so much more with locations around the state of Mississippi. Go to mscoding.org today and go to your next level.
We all make promises, big and small.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
I do solemnly swear
to help you when you're in need,
to be considerate and caring, to be your loving, faithful friend,
partner,
child,
parent,
neighbor.
One of our most important commitments is to support our nation's veterans. Learn how you can help a veteran going through a difficult time by visiting maketheconnection.net.
Rankin County, grab your friends and put on those dancing shoes. This Saturday night, August 15th, the Honky Tonk Time Machine is taking over Cameron's Garage at Cypress Point. Get ready for music, line dancing, and a whole lot of honky tonk fun. It's like stepping into a time machine for one unforgettable Saturday night. Honky Tonk Time Machine, 7 to 11 p.m. This Saturday at Cameron's Garage.
Don't forget to check out Cypress Point Resort. Memories are made at Cypress Point. Close to home, yet it feels miles away. At Cypress Point, you can truly get away from it all. You can step back to a simpler time, yet enjoy all the amenities of today. Cameron's Garage is a sports bar and music venue. There's a lunch buffet every day inside Cypress Point. They also have a steakhouse and the tavern. The tavern is a quaint little place with live music Wednesday through Saturday. And of course, you've got the safari park and petting zoo. Don't forget about all the event halls, including the wedding chapel and so much more. That's Cypress Point Resort, located at 874 Hollybush Road, Brandon, Mississippi. Contact them at 601-829-1101 or at cypresspointms.com.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
7:05 a.m. on the Central Time Zone right now. It is Friday, August 14th. My name is Daryl Arnold. You've tuned into the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold, darylarnold.us, darylarnold.us. You can choose any player you want on that, or you can open up your Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. We're also on iHeartRadio, another sponsor of ours now, iHeartRadio. They've come on strong for us and with us, along with Podbean, along with Spotify. We're really kicking ass on Spotify. And that's all thanks to all of you that listen. Not me, not because I'm special, because I'm telling you, true to tradition, facts. Okay, that's what we're doing here. We're unleashed, unapologetic, and we are uninhibited. So just wow on this next story. We got to talk about it because we got to just say wow. Caught inside. Now, this is crazy. I don't know if y'all follow James O'Keefe. This guy's been doing investigative journalism for years. Undercover and not undercover, but mostly undercover investigations. He does them live where you can see them and hear them. You don't have to believe any type of propaganda or storytelling because he's doing them freaking live. Well, as you know, a few days ago, rather, Minnesota, again, electing a bunch of foolish folks. I guess they just want that state to burn from the inside out. But at the polling booths in Minnesota, O'Keefe, he brings a bunch of workers with him in completely blacked out outfits. Looks like a ninja, basically, with the hoods and all that, dressed in Muslim garb and a burqa. And he goes up to the people at the Minnesota polls where you vote, ladies and gentlemen. I know this sounds crazy, but it's insane. It's like a bad movie. But he goes up to the poll and says he can vouch for eight, you guys, unregistered voters without ID, allowing them to vote in the Minnesota election. Election workers that are working the table there. And I'll put this up later for everybody to see, because the visual's great in a bad way. Election workers say you are the ID, referring to him, which, the people he's vouching for don't need a damn ID. Are you kidding me, y'all? And yet our useless majority can't pass the Save America Act. He even says they're not registered. He says it vocally. That's okay. That's fine. That's what they say. Unreal. The Justice League is the name of O'Keefe's organization when he goes out undercover. And it's quite frankly the most insane stuff that you can imagine ever. Okay? Ever. And it's happening right here in the United States.
Okay. Yes. How does that work?
Well, if you're all in the same precinct,
Yes.
and you are already registered, which it looks like you are, then you can vouch for them as ID for them.
Oh, good.
She says to me, I says they do not need ID. She says, you are the ID.
He is the ID.
See, I am the ID.
And no ID needed. I just vouch for them.
Well,
It's
you're
good.
the ID.
I am the ID. It's good. How many people may I vouch for?
It's
8?
I thought it was 6.
I can vouch for 8 people. 8 people, no ID. We come right back. Thank you.
Most poll workers we visited were willing to let us vouch with no questions asked, even when presented with the most absurd situation imaginable. While other poll workers did take issue with our investigation, revealing their awareness that something about this vouching system is deeply flawed or wrong. Yet for some reason, they don't want us to expose it.
Can't have her see me.
Get down.
Baller, I'm a 20-inch crawler, blaze on Impala, diamond rock waller.
In Minnesota, voters can vouch for up to 8 of their unregistered friends. At the polling place, a registered voter from the same precinct signs an oath confirming that they personally know the voter lives there. This allows someone without ID to register and vote. And employees of residential facilities may vouch for an unlimited number of facility residents to vote at the facility's address. That's
oh my God. Unlimited number. I mean, it doesn't seem real if I wasn't watching it. And James O'Keefe's been doing this for years, so it's not like some fake little TikTok BS, because actually this didn't come from TikTok. But no, it's real. It's real. Now, you talking about the amount of messages I got on X regarding this is insane. But if you want to text me, 601-918-8409, 601-918-8409, the text line for this segment, ladies and gentlemen, the secret war on cash is coming for all of us right now. precious metals is always a great thing to happen because they don't go away like cash. Okay, they don't. You want free information? There's no obligation, just information. No obligation, just information. SwissAmerica.com/unleashed. SwissAmerica.com/unleashed. And our text line 601-918-8409. Brought to you in part by SwissAmerica.com/unleashed. It's easy, apparently, to commit fraud in Minnesota. Everyone in America needs to hear and listen to that video. It's arguably one of the most important videos to see in the year 2026. It really is. We have a crisis on our hands with elections right now. We have senators that won't vote for a Save America Act to show a ID. We all know how ridiculous that is. We've been over it over 100 times on this show alone. It's a national security emergency. If you don't think so, you're not keeping up. When do the Democrats and the far left idiots start going to prison for stealing our elections? When? Our ID system is broken, and it was apparently built this way on purpose over the last 20 years plus. One person in that video vouched for 8 people who didn't even, not only did they not have to show their ID, ladies and gentlemen, they didn't even have to show their face. How about that? How about that? It's crazy. It is crazy. And a friendly reminder, by the way, this was done by citizens, not the federal government, of course, not the local authorities in Minnesota, of course not, just regular old citizens. Minnesota, election day by vouching. Wow. And who says it's not going on anywhere else that hasn't been busted out yet? Americans locally right here in Mississippi as well. And I'm talking to all of you guys, no matter where you're listening from. Educate yourself. Keep up. Keep up, please. Please. You absolutely wonder why some of these people keep getting elected? Look into it. They pander to the communities that basically will do anything to vote legally or or not legally. They give them tons of, quote, programs, state and federal ran, quote, programs, and tell them whatever it is they need to tell them to get out and vote. Like Benny Thompson, for example, in Mississippi. He's the top level crook. And I said it. Period. Remember back when he was allegedly giving out Walmart cards and all this kind of crazy stuff, prepaid cards to get people to vote for him, allegedly. Come on, you guys. Come on. You know, sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I come do this particular podcast and radio show, I'm like, I can't believe this is actually real in the United States of America, or my state, or your state, or any state. It is the most insane situation that we have ever seen in this country in this generation, and I mean 100 years. Now, I don't know what happened before that when we weren't born, when was, 1800s. We don't know what happened. I mean, we know what we read in history. But yeah, this is what's happening. Who is to blame? We're going to get into a real topic that's so very important. It is so huge, real important. Not just, but it's important locally too. It's important everywhere. Our state in Mississippi is doing a complete turnaround on a lot of the education, high school, middle school, elementary school. But as a whole, the very young generation right now, and I'm talking about the high schoolers. You may have seen some of the stories out lately, even on your little TikTok devices and my little TikTok devices. I can't talk bad about you. Anyway, there's a lot going on, you guys. We're going to get into that education story. We're going to get into the ridiculous Department of Education. Now, no matter the state and federal. These are things that have to be talked about. They have to be, because you don't hear it on mainstream media. That's why they're scared. They don't tell you. They have to push the propaganda. It's what they do. There is so much smut going on in the freaking Department of Education. It's pathetic. It really is. Are there some good people there? Are there some great people there? Probably so. But you have to wade through the sludge to get to any of those people. You have to wade through the sludge to get to any of those, quote, good people. My name is Daryl Arnold. We'll be right back.
If you or a loved one need reliable medical equipment, trust a name Mississippi has depended on for over 20 years. Mobility Medical, located right in Flowood, is your local family-owned source for mobility and home healthcare solutions. From power wheelchairs and scooters to lift chairs that help you relax in comfort, they've got everything you need to stay independent and live better every day. Need help at home? Mobility Medical offers hospital beds, tables, and essential supplies, and more. What sets them apart? It's their personalized service. Their experienced team works one-on-one with you to find the right equipment. Serving all of Mississippi and beyond with in-store support and delivery options available. Mobility Medical, helping you move better, live better, and stay independent. Visit them today in Flowood or call to learn more.
Support for these programs comes from Electrical Solutions and Services in Pearl, Mississippi, providing licensed electrical contracting services throughout Mississippi for commercial, industrial, and residential projects. Also installations, system upgrades, troubleshooting, and emergency electrical repairs. As certified installers for Tesla, charging systems, and a certified dealer for Generac backup power solutions, their team delivers safe, code-compliant workmanship with a commitment to precision and integrity. They are veteran-owned. Their phone number is 769-572-7597.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the Grads of Life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
And it is still Friday, August 14th. My name is Daryl Arnold, Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. When you're looking it up, it's Unleashed Media, the and sign, not A-N-D. And Talk with Daryl Arnold, D-A-R-R-E-L-L. Simple to go to darylarnold.us or, any of your podcast platforms. YouTube. We're streaming live on YouTube. Of course, those videos sit on the YouTube platform after we're finished live. You can watch them back anytime you want to. Okay? Anytime you want to. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the podcast. Leave any comments. It always helps. Along with Facebook as well. We're live streaming. We encourage comments, subscriptions, etc. None of these cost a dime, by the way. So it is 7:23 in the morning, Central Time. We're just talking about the disgusting Department of Education in certain states, certain areas. I'm not going to sit here and blame everyone involved with the Department of Education because at this point, the teachers are the ones standing up to these fools for the most part. The teachers and the parents. Teachers and the parents. It's just crazy. So someone sent me a message and it said literally this: stop what you're doing right now and watch this. I said, okay, what is it? They said, stop what you're doing right now, watch and listen. Okay. So the Metro School Department of Education, which will be the Nashville, Tennessee area, by the way, the Nashville, Tennessee area, says that this, one of the main teachers, actually, she got Teacher of the freaking Year last year. They're all saying now, her along with many other teachers, that they have to fabricate grades for students and skew stats. Teachers are also banned from reporting behavioral issues to protect the, quote, district in the Department of Education. Wow. And there's all kind of videos out there. I know a lot of you guys have seen the latest with the black gentleman who's the teacher teaching seniors, and they cannot write or read. And he literally breaks down and starts crying. We'll play that clip for you shortly. But what are we even doing, ladies and gentlemen? What are we doing? What are we doing? What is going on in our classrooms? But it's not the classrooms anymore. It's above the teachers' heads. Okay, it's above the teachers. It's not even the teachers anymore. A lot of them who have, some type of backup plan in life, they're just quitting because of this. But this next 2 minutes is so very important for all of you out there to listen to, because it may be Nashville today or yesterday or the day before or last week. It may be Chicago tomorrow, next week, last week. Maybe LA, maybe New York, it may be Minnesota, maybe whatever. But it could be in your backyard now and you don't know about it yet. Okay? You don't know about it yet.
The year at John F. Kennedy Middle School in Antioch this past year, and Blue Ribbon Teacher of the Year for the district. What you have in front of you right now is my resignation letter. I resigned in May. You can read those 3 pages at your leisure. But I've heard a lot of positive data in this meeting, and I just wanted to give you some facts from my firsthand experience. So first, district leaders asked me to fabricate grades for a parent who sat in the office for hours until her daughter's failing grades were changed. It creates false entitlement. What happens when these kids lie, cheat, and cry their way through school and end up as future doctors, police, or politicians? When will you protect the future of our society? Second, that same parent has harassed over 30 teachers. Teachers have filed police reports, and entire school districts have had or entire schools have had restraining orders against her. Yet she's still allowed on school property, showing up to field trips her child didn't earn, and filming other students. When will you stop prioritizing parents' feelings over the safety of our teachers and our students? I heard you also mention that we're closing gaps in teacher vacancies. I want the public to know that many of those are filled with uncertified teachers. My third point, HR withheld money from my employee paycheck as well as many others. They took $500 from me specifically, and it put me behind on my mortgage. And then they sent out an email saying that they had to do it to pay other employees. When will you pay teachers what they are owed? My fourth point, the news reports that behavioral issues are down. They are not. We are simply banned from reporting them, forcing us to keep disruptive students in the classroom. Statistics are being skewed to protect the district, not our children. Our children cannot read and write. They cannot do basic math. And we spend 40 hours a week with these students, so we know them better than the district and those fake numbers. Please stop undermining our professional decisions, because honestly, it's breaking the efficiency and it's giving HOA quality. So Dr. Battle, my question to you.
Thank you.
That's when he cut her off. Of course he did. So this is the Board of Education, Nashville, right down the road, y'all, Tennessee. What's going on in our schools? That is the segment we're in now. What is going on in our freaking schools? No wonder somebody texted me and said, stop what you're doing and listen to this last night. It's utterly unacceptable. And yet another example of folks defrauding the federal government. Of course they are. POTUS should actually issue an executive order barring any federal funds to these type school districts. That's what I would do. Because it's crazy. So Marsha Blackburn and Tim Burkett, come on, y'all. Jump in. Get in. Here's somebody that commented on that story. My wife is a teacher. This is the biggest problem. Administrators have exploded throughout the public school districts, yet teacher hires have remained flat. The administrative staff always has these insane, they're not executive orders, but these insane rules, regulations. It's where they're all coming from. What is their value regarding educating kids? Not too much, in my opinion. Not too much. And, you know, even these prestigious, quote, universities, end quote, all of them have adopted this policy of, quote, no failures. So be very skeptical of any physician with a, quote, degree from these places, I would. I really would. Metro schools. That's the Nashville area. Unreal. Unreal. So I say stop what you're doing if you're listening and rewind and listen to this story. It's that important for the future of this country, your kids and grandkids, and so on and so on. Crazy. But see, here's the deal. Good grades equals more money or less money? I wonder. But we all know that the school system's been declining over the last 30 years. We're seeing repercussions of a failing system in the public school systems. Now, we're doing good here in Mississippi. Thank the Lord above. Thanks to the wonderful teachers here. Of course, there's some bad ones, and the education system, there's some bad ones, but generally speaking, we're doing fantastic. You know, Mississippi used to be last in everything. But when you can't read and you can't write or you can't do any math, how is it that they're still graduating? When I went to school, you couldn't. You couldn't. It was your butt. You would have to go to summer school. You'd have to make up classes. You would have to stay after school. You'd have to do double homework. You'd have to do all of that because your butt better be passing. And in order to correctly pass, you're going to have to know how to do those things. You're going to have to do one of those things. There's also a incredibly popular audio and video clip going around. And if you only listen to one more thing today on this Friday, August 14th, a high school English teacher. Now, this is a senior. He's teaching seniors, the 12th grade. Breaks down, starts crying on camera because the high school seniors in his class cannot write a single sentence. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. And these are the people that are going to get in colleges and be lawyers. I mean, doctors, what?
Middle class, because I'm teaching seniors. These kids are leaving high school and going to college, hopefully, after they finish. We had 2 paragraphs to read, 1 sentence complete to write. I gave them the sentence stems. I basically completed the sentence for them in the model. These are 17 and 18-year-old kids, and they couldn't fill in 4 words. 4 words. I gave them the scenario. We annotated together. I gave them the answers before we even had the problem. And they couldn't do it. I don't know. I simply don't know where the problem is. This is only day 2 And I have seniors who simply cannot read and seniors who cannot write. They cannot write. They can reason. They have the ability to defend their reasoning if it's talking to their homeboy, but applying that to a written text, 2 paragraphs, and they couldn't do it. Our young black men, our young brown men, our young black girls, and our young brown girls.
This is real, you guys. This should shake everyone up. Of course, this people say, well, why hasn't he taught them that? Well, you got to remember, school just started like this week for them. Just started. So they're coming from a different wherever. Going into their senior year, some of them are 18, some of them are 17. They cannot read. They cannot write. They cannot read. They cannot write. And then people wonder, they wonder why that so many people are homeschooling now. They wonder why. It's probably one of the more astonishing facts that are going on in this country. These last 2 stories that I did, these last 2 segments. And another story, and then we're going to move on. But one of the more astonishing moments was when public schools here and elsewhere let kids out of class to, quote, protest ICE, which is ridiculous. But the protest signs were misspelled. Wow. Wow. Pure indoctrination. Decades of successive dumbing down of government-ran education, lowering standards to ridiculous levels, and they have brought us to this terrible point. Not even our worst foreign enemies could do this or have done this. Sad. Super duper sad. Okay? Jeez. If that doesn't turn your stomach on a Friday, on an actual Freedom Friday, I don't have kids in high school. My kids are grown. But they'd be homeschooled if I could possibly pull it off any way possibly humanly. I know everybody can't do that. I get it. But if I could, and I had a kid now, I definitely would, if I could. It's just unreal. Unbelievably real. Real and unreal. Kind of both. Real and unreal. That's where we are, though. Real and unreal. We're in those waters now in this country on so many freaking levels that it's insane. That's what it is. My name is Daryl Arnold. It's Friday, August 14th. You've tuned into the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold, coming back at you.
If you or a loved one need reliable medical equipment, trust a name Mississippi has depended on for over 20 years. Mobility Medical, located right in Flowood, is your local family-owned source for mobility and home healthcare solutions. From power wheelchairs and scooters to lift chairs that help you relax in comfort, they've got everything you need to stay independent and live better every day. Need help at home? Mobility Medical offers hospital beds, tables, and essential supplies, and more. What sets them apart? It's their personalized service. Their experienced team works one-on-one with you to find the right equipment. Serving all of Mississippi and beyond with in-store support and delivery options available. Mobility Medical, helping you move better, live better, and stay independent. Visit them today in Flowood or call to learn more.
Power 104.3 FM.
You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of.
But you have heard of me.
The Pirate.
Support for these programs comes from Electrical Solutions and Services in Pearl, Mississippi, providing licensed electrical contracting services throughout Mississippi for commercial, industrial, and residential projects. Also installations, system upgrades, troubleshooting, and emergency electrical repairs. As certified installers for Tesla, charging systems, and a certified dealer for Generac backup power solutions, their team delivers safe, code-compliant workmanship with a commitment to precision and integrity. They are veteran-owned. Their phone number is 769-572-7597.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
Oh, yeah. Coming up on 7:43 in the morning. That's Central Time. It is Freedom Friday, August 14th, 2026. My name is Daryl Arnold. It is Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. Also, we're live streaming right now. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. You can also check out all the podcasts that are platformed immediately after the show is over at Apple, Spotify, Podbean. So, man, it's like 40 platforms. And then, of course, we're especially now pivoted into iHeartRadio right there at Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. Thanks for iHeartRadio for submitting us on the billboard, actually. Not the billboard as the charts, the banner. Let's rephrase that, the banner. So, anyway. Wow, we've been talking about some deep subjects with the education system, ladies and gentlemen, in this country. And we've been talking about the insanity of James O'Keefe and his team going to Minnesota and him personally vouching for not only 8 people with no ID, but 8 people wearing like black ninja Muslim outfits. No problem, they said. No problem, they said. God, no problem, they said. That is really ridiculously insane. Let's just say that. That's ridiculously insane. For anybody that might fall for, I don't know, these insane progressive deals, because that's what it is. So back in 1994, if you were born, maybe you were, maybe you weren't. In 1994, we did the conservatives did a contract, that's the word they use, contract for America. Contract for America. And that was back in 1994, and that was Newt Gingrich and that whole group that did that. And they flipped the House and the Senate back to, quote, at the time, Republicans. I consider myself more of a conservative populist, but anyway, we'll move from there. Now we have a contrast for America, not contract, but contrast. I'm going to read off a couple of these things. Some of the priorities that the the people running for the midterm, whether it's red or blue. The path to a stronger America is the contrast for America. Lower taxes, secure our borders, support our police, stronger prisons, tough on crime, American energy dominance, parental rights, and quality education, strong national defense, election integrity, period. Limited government, strong America abroad. Now let's move over to and compare that to the socialist left DSA positions. Higher taxes instead of lower. Open borders instead of secure borders. Instead of support our police is defund and abolish the police. They're such idiots. Stronger prisons and tougher on crime for the red side, but the blue side or the DSA side is abolish prisons. I mean, who in their right mind could vote for that? Let's move on. Green New Deal is what they want to. Of course they do. They want woke education instead of parental rights and quality education. Of course they do. We want strong national defense, like I mentioned. They want disarm and weaken America. Yeah, they want to send over, quote, counselors instead of cops. Wonder how that's going to work out for them. We want election integrity with voter ID. They want non-citizen voting, obviously. They want to grant voting rights to non-citizen that aren't even permanent residents, actually. We want limited government, y'all. Uphold the Constitution, checks and balances, and individual, so important, individual liberty on this Freedom Friday and every day. Their answer to that is a socialist/communist takeover. That's what it is. Government ownership of you, your major corporations, and central control of the economy. That's what it is, like it or not. Strong America abroad is what we want. They want to abolish our institutions from the Supreme Court to the Senate to the freaking president. Seriously? That is dismantling our constitutional republic. That's what that's doing. That's exactly what that's doing. So insane. This comparison issues such things as, like I'd said, taxes, border security, prisons, energy, education, national defense, non-citizen voting, government ownership. I mean, it goes on and on. But this, my friends, is so very important at such a very important time in the history of this country. That's what it is right now. That's what it is right now. And speaking of more nonsense with the Democrat Party, of course, always. Let's get over to this story here. Former Columbus, Mississippi, Ward 2 councilman and vice mayor Joseph Mickens Sr. was arrested yesterday, actually, August 13th, after the Loudoun County grand jury indicted him on felony charges. The quote reported charges are laundering monetary instrument and offering inducements to influence the award of contracts. I bet. I bet. Again, another small town ran by incapable Democrat, quote, leaders. Not really leaders, but that's what they say. This appears to be a, quote, state local prosecution. The investigation was conducted by the Mississippi State Auditor's Office, which, of course, is Shad White, which presented its findings to the, quote, Lowndes County grand jury in July last month. So the alleged scheme that this jokester was doing, or whatever, according to the, quote, indictment, the prosecutors alleged that Mickens worked with Marcus Trent Dawson Sr., owner of the HVAC and Mechanical Company, LLC. The allegation essentially is, so what these people were doing was city flooring contracts and things like that of that nature. And Mickens sought to obtain all these contracts from Columbus, even though he was legally ineligible to receive them. Future contracts in exchange was also in cash payments, concealment, money laundering, just insane. And yes, like I said, you know, and I know, Joseph Mickens Jr. was a, quote, Democrat in a city taken over by the Democrats. Okay. Also in 2025, he ran for re-election again. He received 135 votes. Wow. And lost to Roderick Smith, who received 251 votes. An interesting piece of political history. There was controversy surrounding Mickens shortly before he lost that re-election in early 2025. Mickens challenged whether his two Democrat primary opponents, Laisha O'Neill and Roderick Smith, actually lived in Ward 2. The Lowndes County Democratic Executive Committee ruled that both were qualified. Anyway, more rigging of city contracts, allegedly. Oh, my God. Right. I talked about this a little bit the other day, but this, you can't play any clips from Hassan Piker because, I mean, he says stuff worse than you hear in a Triple X movie. And, the young people are just sucking it up, listening to it, watching it. Keep your kids away from this streamer who wants a gamer streamer. Discord, all that crap. Reddit. He lashed out, of course, at Francesca Hong's loss in Wisconsin. He took aim at the, quote, national media, accusing misleading voters about Democrat socialist candidates. He also turned his frustration towards the, quote, regular Democrats, whatever that means now, suggesting there would be political consequences against them following the defeat. What say you? The bigger question may be what this says about the growing battle inside of the, quote, Democrat Party between the progressive socialist or the progressive idiot moderates, whatever they call themselves. They're still idiots. It's a good question. It's a good question. But one thing that everyone agrees on both sides, whether it's Democrats or Republicans or whatever, term limits needs to be a factor because the younger generation doesn't give a damn about Chuck Schumer, Mitch McConnell. Come on, y'all. Chuck Grassley or whatever. It doesn't matter what side. They're old. They don't fully get it. They don't fully get it. And they haven't gotten it in a long time. Let's be honest. It's been a minute. Been a minute. And the James Tallarico Frico over in Texas. Now, Texas, y'all need to tighten up. Y'all got mosque everywhere. You got jihadist takeover. You got all this going on in the Dallas, Texas area, and quite frankly, all over the state. Get it together. Get it together. But the James Tallarico Frico running for the big seat against Ken Paxton, he calls the Bible propaganda. How do you feel? How does that make you feel? It doesn't make me feel good. Doesn't make me feel good at all. The Senate, and this guy's running for the U.S. Senate, by the way. Keep that in mind. For millions of Christians out there listening, including myself, the Bible is sacred scripture and it's not propaganda. Do you actually think that a United States Senate candidate should be using the Bible and saying that it's propaganda or even describing it that way? Hell no. No, 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 no. No.
And then the last one is maybe the most insidious. It was a new state curriculum that would teach Christian Bible stories as historical fact, as the only truth to our youngest students. And I mean kindergarten, first graders. These are kids who aren't able to think for themselves yet. They haven't formed their own worldviews. And to push propaganda, to push indoctrination on those youngest students is deeply immoral.
Dude, y'all, please, if you hear me in Texas, I had a lot of podcast viewers, listeners, downloads from Texas the other day. 2,000-3,000 in one day. Please listen. Have family members in Texas. Spiritual warfare is real. When you attack peace and joy, in my opinion, and guess what? It's my show. It's my opinion. When you attack peace and joy, you're on the wrong side. Tallarico, Talladumbo. You're on the wrong side of history. When you attack peace and joy over your freaking trans nonsense, ridiculous crap, fake Dodge Ram that you rented for a commercial, and you rented a cowboy hat so you could look Texas. Guess what? People can see right through that nonsense. They can see right through the nonsense. But Texas voters, beware. Stay wide ass awake. Beware. Make sure you show up at the polls over in Texas. Because if this next election cycle, midterms, and 28 loses Texas, it is 100% completely over. And that goes for Mississippi too. If we lose this next year governor race and we go down that other way, you guys, it's over. It's over for this generation. I thoroughly, honestly believe that because the takeover is here. They want it. They're doing every propaganda. Other countries are using propaganda with them. It is wide open, pushing the far left socialist communist agenda. So stay wide awake Have a fantastic weekend. Come out to Cypress Point Resort tonight. Silver and Lace in the Garage, full band. Tomorrow night, it is the big event on the 15th of August, Saturday, the Honky Tonk Time Machine, and they'll be doing it up right for sure. Also, live music and food specials in the tavern. 2 for 1 at the Safari. Hey, man, let's have fun. Let's make it a great weekend. Let's make it a fun weekend. But let's also make it a safe weekend. See you Monday.
Thank you all for tuning in. Hashtag unfiltered, hashtag unapologetic, America First Talk at its best, where we party the right way. See you next time.